That was My Elvis Blackout with their rendition of I Get Kicks from Sinking Ships, performing in Boscowan Park recently. It's good to see young people enjoying themselves and the West Britain presenting young people in a favourable light. Most of the time they get linked with criminal damage in the community, and young people generally don't get a good press. We don't need to listen to members of the public spouting their prejudices. Young people are such a nuisance. Oh, in my day, young people had much better manners. Having said that, a tiny minority of youngsters do actually cause trouble, as we can see in these CCTV images. I mean, what's he up to? It might be funny, but it's not for the landlord. So let's follow Truro beat officer PC Martin Roberts, neighbourhood beat manager for the Truro City Centre, on his rounds.
At this moment in time, we're experiencing criminal damage in the form of graffiti. There is individuals using felt tip pens, biros, things like that, on walls, making signatures, drawing pictures. All of this has an effect, not only on the places they're doing it, but as far as tourism is concerned. If you look at it, it looks untidy, it looks run down, and it doesn't really attract people into the city. A knock-on effect with that is that the graffiti itself needs cleaning. Therefore, the council have got to get involved, which is all an expense to the taxpayer.
Tesco aren't happy about the graffiti on their premises either.
Tesco are here to serve customers, and all of our time should be around serving customers and making sure that customers get what they want and can get through the checkout. And anything that gets in the way of that, for instance graffiti or trolleys in rivers, just holds us up and makes our job harder. So it's very difficult for staff to have to go and retrieve trolleys from rivers, and we have to sometimes pay for that to be done by the council or another body. And graffiti on doors just means that we've got to get a cleaner in to stand there and scrub off a door and perhaps even have it repainted. And all that costs money, and all that stops us serving our customers really well.
Down at Hendra, we have a skateboarding park alongside with a squash court. Now, the skateboarding park, even that has been vandalised through graffiti. Again, names, drawings, all sorts of scribbles, and the walls of the squash court are also being vandalised through graffiti. It's amazing that you have a facility put in place for the youth, and there's still individuals who feel that they need to damage and make the whole area look quite unsightly. Here we're in an area in a rural location where we've got some 4-bar fencing panels up, which have been, as you can see, have been pulled down, and they're actually for a tree house which is being built. Now these barriers here obviously divide public to private, so that's now been broken. When they've taken the panels off, they've just ripped them off, which has actually exposed large nails pointing out. So apart from the fact that it's a safety issue of going into the road, it's also now very dangerous if anyone was walking by and could catch themselves on these nails. In the process of building a tree house, they've gone a tad further here. They've actually taken a gate, a 5-bar gate from somebody's property, obviously with the intention there of breaking it down to help their tree house.
And what do you think of the problem that churches have with bored local youngsters? Neil Henry, one of the church wardens in St Paul's Church, Agar Road, Truro, explains.
The problem started about 3 years ago when children started to throw stones at the windows, even during the services. The problems escalated each day, and each week we have found more stones and more glass in the church. And then in the end up, a few weeks ago, our first stained glass window was broken, which cannot be repaired now. And we're just worried now that the vandalism will carry on and go right around the church.
What is that about? Can't the older generation worship in peace on a Sunday morning without the fear of a stone smashing a stained glass window and shooting shards of glass into the pews? Is nothing sacred? But, as with everything, there are always consequences. Not just for victims of criminal damage, but also for the culprits when they're eventually caught. Whether it's a reprimand, a caution, or a court appearance, the consequences can be long-lasting. And just imagine your fingerprints on file, or your DNA taken, your photograph in the police archives. How's that going to help you when a future employer carries out a CRB police check on you? Is it the start of a slippery descent into the life of crime? How will your mother feel? Let's look in at the reconstruction of a reprimand.
Okay. Right, are you Tom Hockley?
Yes.
Right, Tom, I've been appraised of the offence of criminal damage by the officer investigating, and I understand you're going to admit this offence. Is that correct?
Yes, I admit.
Right, Tom, what I plan to do is reprimand you for this offence. So if you listen to me, you'll be reprimanded on the following offence: that on the 19th of March 2006 at Truro in the county of Cornwall, without lawful excuse, damaged a light, value unknown, belonging to Truro School, intending to destroy or damage such property, or being reckless as to whether such property would be destroyed or damaged. That is contrary to section 1(1) and 4 of the Criminal Damage Act 1971. Okay. I've got to inform you that facts will be kept on record for 5 years, or to the age of 18, which is ever the longer, and they may be cited in criminal proceedings or possibly any future job interviews that you go for. Do you understand that?
Yes.
As you're under arrest, I've also got to inform you that your DNA will be taken, your fingerprints will be taken, and a photograph will be taken, and they will be kept on record permanently. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Right, Tom, what I want you to understand is the severity of this offence. The fact that you haven't been charged to court doesn't undermine its gravity. It quite simply means that you've had a reprimand in the first instance. As I stated earlier, the next stage will be a final warning if you don't heed our advice today. And after that, we have no option but to send you to a youth court. It's obviously a very serious issue today. You've got to understand the damage that you've caused is a criminal damage. Also, you've got to take into account the feelings of the victim. It's very important these days, and we do take that into account. Do you appreciate the gravity of the offence that you've committed?
Yes.
Okay, what I'm going to ask you to do now is to sign the certificate of reprimand, and I'm going to ask your mother, who's here today, to countersign that. After considering all of the circumstances and because you've admitted the offences, I now propose to reprimand you for the offence listed. If you can just sign that there. And there's some information which you can take away and we'll explain fully about the reprimand system. If I could ask your mother to sign there. Okay, that's fine. Right, what I'm going to do is get the officer in the case to take you away and take your fingerprints, DNA and your photograph, which, as I explained earlier, will be kept permanently on record. Okay with that? Thank you very much.
But most of you watching are unlikely to go down this route. You'll find a natural outlet for your energies and frustrations. You'll overcome the dangers and temptations brought about by boredom. Get a life is usually a term of ridicule, but you must take charge of your lives. It's up to you to develop your mind, body and soul. There's a whole world out there for you to explore and enjoy. Some of these things you guys already do. I'll leave you with a number of questions to think about and discuss. What do you think and feel about the graffiti on the walls in your village, town, city? What can you do to reduce it? Are the local vandals who throw stones at church windows mindless idiots? What can be done in your local community to help young people who are drifting into the life of crime? And what new activity are you going to take up this month to help you fight off the threat of boredom? I'll leave you with the thoughts of one youngster who was reprimanded for criminal damage, currently languishing in a police cell.
One Saturday we was with my mates from Camborne, deciding to do some stuff that we shouldn't have done when we was bored. So we got some pens, drew on some walls and got in trouble. Someone from Mallets caught me doing it on the wall and phoned the police, and later on that afternoon I got my name and everything written down, and they phoned me a couple of days later and I came into the police station, had all my fingerprints taken, my photo, my DNA, and got put in reprimand. I wish I hadn't done it, really. Not very pleased, not proud of myself. Don't go out vandalising and doing really stupid stuff, get in trouble with the police. I'd go to youth centres, be happy, be safe with friends.